How's it going, my peeps? It is now time for the Raw results / highlights video and review. I'll go over the results, and give you guys my thoughts on the show. So the show starts off with like this video package showing what happened last week, kind of like, you know, TNA does. And if you don't watch TNA, it's kind of like, you know, those old cartoons where they were like, you know, last time on blah blah blah, this guy did that and that. You know what I'm talking about. So after that, we have Randy Orton coming out for a matchup. So the show starts off with a matchup. It's been a long time. Seems like we haven't had a match start off the show in a long time. Usually it's just, you know, promo. So yeah, Randy comes out for a match against Dolph Ziggler. It's a really quick match, and Del Rio comes out to interfere. He gets on the apron and distracts Randy Orton, and because of that distraction, Dolph was about to hit the Fame-Acer on Randy, but Randy ducks and rolls up Dolph for the 1-2-3, so he wins the matchup. After he wins, Ricardo jumps up on Randy's back, and then Del Rio and Dolph get in the ring and start attacking Randy. And at this point, I was hoping Christian would come make the save and be revealed as the last member of Team Foley. By the way, it seems like Randy's now the leader of Team Foley. But yeah, I was hoping Christian would come out and make the save, but instead Kofi Kingston made the save. Yeah, he saved Randy, and then guess who comes out? Teddy Long comes out, and come on, you gotta know what happens next. It's Teddy Long. Teddy Long comes out and books it. He says, you know, since it's a Raw Super Show and Vickie is so busy with the AJ scandal, you know, I'm gonna book a match, and the match is gonna be super. So, you know, for once, I'm thinking maybe it's gonna be like some special type of tag team match, not just any type of tag team match. But no, he books Randy and Kofi versus Dolph and Del Rio in a tag team match. So basically, they brought in Teddy just to book a tag team match. I don't know if it's just me, or it just seems like they're trolling us, or they know that Teddy Long, or, you know, that they book Teddy Long a lot, booking tag team matches. So yeah, we then have the tag team match, and the team of Del Rio and Ziggler actually win the match. So yeah, Orton has one victory, and I guess the other team, Team Ziggler, has a victory too. Del Rio won the match for his team after hitting an enziguri on Kofi when Ricardo was distracting Kofi. And then we have Vickie Guerrero coming into the ring, and she's in the ring with Dolph Ziggler, talking about the AJ scandal again. She shows the same evidence, yeah, they've showed the past couple of weeks. Dolph Ziggler points out that, you know, in the photo of John Cena having a dinner with AJ, points out that John Cena is wearing his ring gear during the dinner, which I also thought was funny, and I noted that too in the previous Raw review. Vickie then brings out AJ to admit to the relationship or whatever, and AJ says, okay, I admit that we're just friends. So yeah, and then Vickie shows some new evidence, and it's some voice messages that AJ left to John Cena apparently. And it's like messages like, oh John, last night was a mistake, or I want to be with you, or stuff like that. And AJ's like all confused and is wondering like, how do you get these voice messages, or how do you make them? She says, you know, they're made up, or, you know, asks Vickie how she made them up or edited them or whatever. And then Dolph starts talking, and John Cena comes out, and he's all business. He gets in the ring and looks like he wants to attack Dolph Ziggler, but AJ stops him, but then AJ slaps Dolph, and then John Cena punches Dolph, and then Dolph rolls out of the ring, Vickie runs away, and that's it for that. And then once they come back from commercial break, we've got Cena and AJ again. This time they're backstage though, and Cena's talking about how they're making AJ's life a living hell over something that will never happen. And then AJ's like, something that will never happen? And then John Cena's like, he rephrases what he said and says something that never happened. And then he acts all awkward and says he's got to go. We then have a match between Big Show and William Regal. They show the footage of Big Show attacking Sheamus in a pub or whatever. And the match was very quick. William Regal got a couple punches in. Big Show eventually hits a chokeslam on Regal for the 1-2-3 after the match. He's about to go for the WMD on William Regal, and Sheamus makes the save and takes Big Show out of the ring. We then had a number one contenders Divas match, Layla versus Kaitlyn, and Eve was on commentary. Kaitlyn wins the match with a reverse DDT, so she's a new number one contender after the match. she has a stare down with Eve. They then show some footage of, the Jerry Lawler incident. And then Jerry Lawler comes back. He thanks the fans and says it's great to be back. And then CM Punk interrupts him, so Jerry Lawler just goes on the commentary table. And then CM Punk says it's a good thing Jerry Lawler, went on the commentary table, because if not, CM Punk would have beaten him to death. And then, CM Punk just bashes Jerry the King Lawler, says nobody cares how long he was dead and stuff like that. He says what's important is his WWE Championship reign and how he's held it for 358 days. They also make fun and mock Jerry the King Lawler's incident where Paul Heyman actually pretends like he has a heart attack and CM Punk gives him CPR. Eventually, Mick Foley comes out. They have a good promo between the two. And Mick Foley gets pissed and also says that he's going to let the fans choose who the last member of Team Foley is going to be. And that tonight in the main event, Foley is going to be the special guest enforcer in the matchup between CM Punk and John Cena. We then have Brad Maddox backstage. He's warming up for his fight. And you have like this one guy filming him, apparently for a YouTube show he's going to release. And he has like a Brad Maddox shirt on, the guy that's filming him. And then we have CM Punk backstage with Paul Heyman. Bottom line, he just tells Paul Heyman once again to fix things. And then we have an 8-man tag team match. It's Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio teaming up with Justin Gabriel and Tyson Kidd to face off against the primetime players and Epico and Primo. And the match was great, especially in the end. There was lots of action, lots of people flying around and stuff. In the end, Tyson Kidd hit a Hurricane Rana on Darren Young and sent him in the middle ropes, and then he tags in Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio hits the 619 on Darren Young, and he tags in Justin Gabriel, who hits the 450 splash on Darren Young for the win. And then you have Brad Maddox backstage again, but this time Paul Heyman catches up to him and he wants to talk to him, but we don't hear what he says to him. And then afterwards we have The Miz backstage, and he's on the phone talking about how he'll find a way to make an impact at Survivor Series. And then Dolph Ziggler catches up to him and he tells him he knows it's a matter of time until The Miz begs to be on Team Ziggler. And he tells The Miz, or asks The Miz, if he saw Ziggler lead Del Rio to victory in that tag team match earlier tonight. The Miz says all he saw was Randy beating him and him getting slapped by AJ. And then Foley comes out to them and he challenges Ziggler, tells him to pick 2 guys from his team to have a tag team match with 2 guys from Foley's team. So Ziggler picks Damien Sandow and Rhodes Colors. Mick Foley says he'll pick Kane, and whoever wins the voting to determine who's going to be that last guy on Team Foley. And then once Ziggler leaves, The Miz asks Foley to put him in that voting so the fans can have the choice to vote for The Miz to be on Team Foley. Miz says he knows Foley doesn't like him, and Foley says, yeah, I don't like you. But he says it'd be awesome to beat Ziggler or whatever. So Foley ends up saying okay, he'll put him in that option for the fans to vote for him. And that was pretty much it for that segment. And then the next match ended up being R-Truth versus Tensai with Antonio Cesaro on commentary. R-Truth won the match with the little Jimmy. So yeah, Tensai went from beating guys like John Cena, CM Punk, to getting beat by guys like R-Truth. After he wins the match, Antonio Cesaro gets on a microphone, says a bunch of things, and then R-Truth gets out of the ring, takes the microphone, and says a knock-knock joke. He says, knock knock, the crowd says, who's there? R-Truth says, Europe, and then they say, Europe who? He says, you're up in my face right now, as, referring to Antonio Cesaro. And he says he's gonna knock Antonio Cesaro's teeth down his throat or down his esophagus or whatever. Because they actually announced that at Survivor Series it's gonna be Antonio Cesaro versus R-Truth for the United States Championship. And then once again we saw Brad Maddox backstage. Looks like he was heading to the ring. And then they have the match. Brad Maddox comes out first, and once he comes out, an ambulance comes out to next to the stage area where Del Rio usually comes out with his cars. And then On top of that, a bunch of like medics come out with like a stretcher like prepared. So the ambulance is prepared and the stretcher is prepared too for Brad Maddox. And then Ryback comes out to a big pop. Ryback just dominates Brad Maddox the whole freaking match. In the beginning, he kind of ran away from, Ryback, but Ryback caught him and just beat him up the whole match. Eventually hit his finisher on him and won the match. And then after the match, the medics, put Brad Maddox on the stretcher, but Ryback flipped the stretcher over, clotheslined Brad Maddox once again on the outside this time. And after he clotheslines him, he yells out, "I hit hard," which was kind of odd, but whatever. And afterwards, he grabs him like in a power slam position and walks with him up to the ambulance and opens up the doors, throws him inside, closes the doors, and the ambulance leaves. And that was pretty much it for that. They then had Sheamus versus David Otunga, so you know what's gonna happen in this match. Sheamus beats Otunga in a pretty quick matchup with the bro kick. After that, on a Titantron, you see Big Show punching William Regal in the stomach about 1,000 times, and Sheamus watches on in shock. And then Big Show is like, "This is what's gonna happen to you this Sunday," and knocks William Regal out once again. And then Sheamus runs to the backstage area, I guess, to save William Regal after Big Show knocked him out already. And then after they go to commercial break and come back, you have Josh Matthews in front of the trainer's room, and he gives us an update on William Regal. Says he's regained consciousness, but he might have a concussion and a broken jaw. And then we get Kane and Daniel Bryan backstage. And it seems like Daniel Bryan's jealous that somebody else is teaming with Kane. Daniel Bryan tells Kane that, hey, if Mick Foley told me I'd have another partner, he'd tell him no, he's not teaming up with anybody other than Kane. Eventually, Kane just leaves, and Daniel Bryan starts yelling, "No, no, no." And then Damien Sandow and Cody come out for the match, followed by Kane. And then we find out who won the pool to become the last member of Team Foley. By the way, the three options were Zack Ryder, The Miz, and Santino. And The Miz won with the majority of the votes, followed by Zack Ryder, and then Santino in last place. Miz comes out for the matchup, and afterwards, right after Miz comes out, he doesn't even get to the ring when Daniel Bryan's music hits. And he holds up a fan sign that says just The Miz. And then he shakes The Miz's hand, or actually grabs The Miz's hand and shakes it himself. And then he goes in the ring and raises Kane's hand. And on commentary, they're kind of, questioning if Daniel Bryan's jealous or not. And then they go to commercial break. Once they come back, Daniel Bryan's sitting on the announcer's table. The match is going on. In the end, it looked like, The Miz was outside the ring, and it looked like Bryan was going after The Miz because he's mad The Miz is Kane's partner. But The Miz ducked and grabbed Daniel Bryan, shoved him towards Cody, so Daniel Bryan hits Cody, and then Miz rolled Cody back in the ring where Kane chokeslammed him for the victory. After the match, Daniel Bryan gets in the ring and raises Kane's hand, and then Miz raises Kane's hand, and they argue back and forth. After that, we have Mick Foley coming out for the main event match, followed by CM Punk and John Cena. The match ends up being pretty good. John Cena locks on the STF twice, but CM Punk doesn't tap out. After that second STF, CM Punk's like, screw this, I'm out of here. And he rolls out the ring, and he's about to leave. But Ryback comes out. And then John Cena is behind CM Punk, and CM Punk tries to escape from the crowd, but John Cena grabs him, throws him back in the ring, and then goes in the ring where CM Punk attempts the GTS, but John Cena gets out, hits the AA on CM Punk for the 1, 2, 3. So John Cena wins the matchup as I predicted in the Raw preview. And after that, Ryback gets in the ring, and the championship is on the mat. And they both stare down the championship and grab one side of the championship. So they're both holding it it's mine, no, it's mine, And CM Punk gets on the apron trying to grab it. And they look like they're about to attack him, so he gets off the apron. And then they grab the championship again, both from one side. And then CM Punk gets on the apron again, looks like he's about to cry, saying it's his. And that ends the show. So, what did I think about the show tonight? Highlights, anything? Overall, I just thought it was a good show. I liked the show tonight. You know, the tag team match with Rey Mysterio and Cara and all that. That was a good match. CM Punk versus John Cena, a good match too. I will say though, the ending was a bit goofy. They should have had just Ryback, you know, come inside the ring and clothesline John Cena to end the show. I thought that'd be a pretty cool ending. Since John Cena, after he won the match, for a slight moment there, he had his back turned to Ryback, so Ryback clotheslining him would have been a better ending in my opinion than them just grabbing the belts, you know, each from one side. Meh. So overall, you know, I'd give the show a 7.5 on 10. Match of the night highlight, I guess, was the, for me at least, was the tag team match, or Ryback versus John Cena. And by tag team match, I mean the Cara and Rey Mysterio and Primetime Players tag team match. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, as always, you can click that like button. Tell me what you thought about Raw in the comment section, and stay tuned. Tomorrow I'll be uploading some more WWE13 gameplay, probably some online matches, maybe the roulette, we'll see. See you guys, I'm out.